Greetings. Welcome back to the Osha Cerese Show. I am your host, Osha Cerese, and this is, yes, your daily dose of real talk, your weekday dose of real talk. Happy Thursday. We're on episode 37. I'm a little late, but I'm here. So, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. If you are watching on any other platform other than YouTube, make sure you make your way over to YouTube and subscribe to my channel. That is where this show lives. That is where you can go back and find the episodes 1 through 37 now under my live tab. So make sure not only to subscribe, but to also turn on your notifications because this is a pop-up show and you never know when I'm going to pop up. As you see, I'm here a little after midnight, don't worry about it. It's been a long day, but I am here. So again, I am Osha Cerese. I am a certified life coach, an event curator, and a dream doula, helping you to birth your ideas into reality. So thank you so much for tuning in, and let's get started. Drink of the night, some cold, fresh lemonade again, some lemonade. We're going to say cheers to a great show. Cheers to happiness, great health, amazing health, abundance, success, wealth, beauty, love, great energy, ease, flow, all good things. Did I say success? And cheers to knowing your worth. Cheers. Y'all know how to give me some gulps in when it's nice and cold. Hello. I don't have no sponsorship for nothing that I be drinking. So if you want to know what brand it is, just let me know because it's definitely delicious. But I ain't giving no shout outs. So again, this is episode 37, and this is still Women's History Month. We're celebrating Black history all year. We celebrate women's history. And today I wanted to spotlight not one, but two beautiful women. And they just so happen to be mother and daughter. So I wanted to spotlight Miss Diana Ross and Tracee Ellis Ross. And you know what's funny to me? My grandmother was always told that she looked like Diana Ross. And I have heard, my best friend thinks I look just like Tracee Ellis Ross. I don't necessarily see it, but I've been told that from people, random people, Tracee Ellis Ross. There was this trend going on the Clock app where you post your doppelganger, whoever people say you look like. And I did a few people that I've been told I look like. But when I did Tracee Ellis Ross, like when it had the little morph feature, it was like if my features were kind of like squeezed in a little bit more, I could see it. But yeah, other than that, I don't see it. But I love both ladies. So anyway, let me get off my soapbox. Diana Ross was born March 26th, 1944 in Detroit, Michigan. She was the lead singer of the Supremes, Motown's most successful act of the 1960s, and one of the best-selling girl groups of all time. As a solo artist, she has released 25 studio albums. She was putting in that work and earned numerous awards, including Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award, Presidential Medal of Freedom, Golden Globe, and Academy Award nominations for her role in Lady Sings the Blues, American Music Awards, and Billboard Awards honors. She is known for her timeless hits like Ain't No Mountain High Enough, Ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough, ain't no river wide enough to keep me from you. And I'm coming out. I had to think about the melody. And Endless Love paved the way for Black women in entertainment, breaking barriers in both music and film. She has 5 children, including Tracee Ellis Ross, who has also made a name for herself. So her first daughter is by Berry Gordy. Can't remember her name right now. I didn't put it in my notes. I'm sorry. I was, rushing. But she has her oldest daughter, and then she has Tracee and another daughter. I think they have the same dad. And then she has Evan and another son. I don't remember his name. I believe they have the same dad. Um, and then, they have their own careers as well. Her oldest daughter also sings. She does some other things as well. I think she does some other things. And then Evan is an actor as well. And then Tracee Ellis Ross, born on October 29th, 1972, best known for her role as Joan Clayton on the iconic TV show Girlfriends and as Rainbow Johnson on Blackish. I told y'all before that I've never seen Blackish. I haven't seen Blackish, Grownish, or Mixedish, but it's on my watch list. I'm going to dedicate some time to watch those shows. Tracee Ellis Ross has earned a Golden Globe Award for Best Actress in a Comedy for Blackish, multiple NAACP Image Awards, and beyond acting, she's a fashion icon, entrepreneur, and advocate for self-love and body positivity. She launched her hair care line, Pattern Beauty, designed specifically for textured hair, and she embodies confidence, empowerment, and celebration of natural beauty. I got to rewind back to the fashion icon because Tracee Ellis Ross is on my digital vision board for fashion. Like, if you were able to see my Pinterest boards, because most of them are private, you would see her as my style icon. I've shared um, her videos and pictures on different platforms. Like, this is my digital vision board for fashion. She just does it for me when it comes to fashion. Love it. And then let me just dote over Tracee Ellis Ross. I love her personality. I think she's dope. She reminds me of me too. Like I told y'all, Issa Rae be reminding me of me. I got a little bit of Tracee Ellis Ross in there as well. And I love that she is confident, she's sexy, she's fly, she's talented, she is, has a great sense of humor, and she knows what she wants. Like I talked about this before on a previous episode about the fact that she gets judged a lot for being an older woman who has not been married and doesn't have children, but this is something that she's chosen for herself. And I commend her on taking a stance on wanting a relationship, but not so much that she'll just be with any old body. Like, she's like, if it's not gonna be a good fit for my life, then I don't have to have a relationship just to be in one. And I second that emotion. So speaking of Tracee Ellis Ross, today I wanted to talk about the show Girlfriends. We talked about living single. Was it the day before yesterday? Episode 35. And I told y'all that I was going to talk about Girlfriends because, again, it's something about a show showcasing the lives of 4 Black women it's just a chef kiss combination. Living single, Girlfriends, Insecure had 4 girlfriends, Harlem. Like, it's the perfect combination. So I wanted to break down a few things on Girlfriends. Mind you, I watched it when I was growing up, was all the way into it whether I knew what was going on. I think we knew what was going on. Even though we were young, we knew what was going on, but we just couldn't relate. Let's just say that. But I binge watched it again at, how old was I when I binge watched it? It was about 4 or 5 years ago. So early 30s, I would say 30, 31 or 32. It was during the pandemic. And it's crazy to think that the pandemic was 5 years ago, like started 5 years ago, because it really does seem like it was just yesterday. And just thinking about that, like this being March 14th, I think it was either March 14th or March 15th when the quarantine happened. And I just want to flash back to that while I'm thinking about it before we move on to girlfriends. At the time, I was a little over a year from leaving my career as a nurse. So I left my career as a nurse February of 2019. So by March of 2020, your girl was in them trenches. Like I was building my business, but it wasn't sustainable enough for me to live off of. So I had to do my gig work, as I'm not ashamed to do. Gig work is available to us for we can get our coins and make ends meet, and it's a beautiful thing to be able to have that option. And so at the time, I would say late 2019, I was doing Uber Eats like the second half of the year. And I liked Uber Eats. I would make a goal to make my little $100 a day. It wasn't much, but it was enough to pay my bills. So I would go out and get my little $100. At first, I would do like lunch hour until the sun went down, and then I started getting out the house later and later. Like the sun usually goes down around 9 in the summer. It starts going down earlier as you get closer to November. So I started liking the little late shift. I would go out, do my Uber Eats runs for the evening when people are ordering their dinner all the way until the late night. So I would be out past midnight. And I liked it because there was no traffic late at night. It was cool, like listening to my music, vibing, thinking some of my best ideas I got while doing Uber Eats runs. And I didn't mind it. Um, it is a little dangerous to be out delivering food at night because you never know where you're going to end up. Not saying like violent neighborhoods, but like animals is outside. Sometimes you got to deliver to folks that live in the damn woods and the boondocks. I have a video of me driving. There was this person's house that was literally like you have to drive all the way through these woods, like over a bridge and all this stuff to get to their house in the back of these woods. And they didn't have any neighbors. And it was stuff like that would be like, I didn't like that. And then at night, also, if you're doing Uber driving, Uber Eats or Uber driving, what's up? The word 9%. What up, though? If you're delivering at night, especially to apartment complexes, it's hard to see the numbers. So you outside trying to see the apartment numbers and even the house numbers. So that's the downside of delivering at night. But anyway, I did my little Uber Eats thing. Then Uber Eats canceled my account at the end of 2019. They gave me 3 false reasons as to why they canceled my account. The first reason they said that I had too many canceled orders. First of all, the only time that I canceled any orders was with permission, because you have to call customer service to get it cleared off of your account or whatever, or get it approved. And the only time I would cancel orders is if I couldn't find the person. I've tried to deliver to somebody and they're like, oh, my bad, I delivered to the wrong address, I'm in Vegas. I got to cancel the order. The second reason they said was missing items. And that's from people putting in false reports that they ain't getting their items so they can get refunds. I don't want your items, baby. I'm vegan. I can't even eat what y'all ordering. Most of the time, they were not ordering plant-based meals. So that was the second excuse they gave me. The third one was not starting my deliveries on time. Baby, I'm trying to make my little $100 and get back to the house. So as soon as I pick up the food, I'm getting in the car and starting my order. So it was crazy. I tried to fight it because I really did enjoy my little Uber Eats deliveries. I even went to corporate office and they was like, no. But what was so stupid about it is Uber didn't cancel my account for everything. They just canceled the Eats part. So they let me they let me give Uber rides. So I'm like, y'all don't trust me with food, but y'all trust me with people? Make it make sense. The word 9% said they thought you took the chicken nuggets right. So, so I ended up doing Uber driving. And for those that don't know, for the longest, I still kind of have it, but not as bad. I used to have really, really bad anxiety driving, mostly with people in the car. When I'm by myself, I'm cool. But like when other people in the car, I guess, I don't know if it's the pressure of making sure everybody's safe or what. Um, I used to have really bad anxiety when it came to that. I used to have, I still don't like driving on the highway. I only drive on the highway if I absolutely have to. And I definitely don't like driving next to semi trucks. That's like anxiety through the roof with that. And I definitely don't fool with the highway at night. Like if I do get on the highway, it's got to be during the day. So to be an Uber driver in Atlanta, where you could be driving for an hour and still be in the Atlanta metro area, I had to get my ass on the highway. I had to drive people around. I had to drive a certain speed because, I can't drive like a granny like I might do sometimes when it's just me. Um, but I think it was actually helpful for me because it pushed me out of my comfort zone. But I'll be on the highway driving, and these folks don't know my damn palms are sweating. My palms are sweaty. Knees deep. How does it go? Palms are sweaty. Mm-mm-mm. There's vomit on my sweater already. Mom's spaghetti. He's nervous, but on the surface he look calm and ready to drop bomb. No, I'm just playing. So I would be nervous, but I would have to do what it do. And I was doing Uber driving while building my business, working on my business or whatever from like late 2019 into 2020. So I don't like to consume the news too much. I call it bad news. I don't watch the news on TV. I get most of my news online if it finds me. Of course I like to stay informed, but I don't like to consume a whole bunch of bad news. So I was hearing about COVID, but I wasn't really taking it that seriously because I'm just like, what is a pandemic? What is they talking about? Um, so I would get people that would hop in my car. I remember a guy asked me, "So what are your thoughts about this coronavirus?" I was like, "Oh, just keep your mind on wellness and just stay healthy. It's no big deal. Like I don't know what they're talking about." And then um I remember a couple of things that got me to take it more seriously. I picked up this woman and she was dressed like a damn ghostbuster, and she sprayed my door handle with Lysol and then got in and asked me if she could spray, I think she asked if she could spray the car seat down. And I was like, no. I think I told her, yeah. I don't know what she asked me if she could spray the handle. I don't know, something. But that made me think like, if she's why is she tripping like this? And then I remember picking up a student from the college campus, and it was like a dream. The way everybody was like running in pandemonium, getting their luggage and hauling it out of their dorm rooms and running. And I was just like, what in the hell is happening? So I started taking it a little bit seriously. I don't know. The word 9% says I did it for a couple of weeks, had to snatch a mofo out my back seat. He was drunk, talking mess. Lucky I was a changed man, took some teeth or could have took some teeth out. Told me in word drive. Eh? I pulled over so quick. Um, yeah, thankfully I never had an encounter with anybody that was tripping. Um, I'm trying to think if I had any Uber driving horror stories. Anybody that I picked up that I don't think I remember driving anybody around that was really tripping. My thing that I had some horror stories on my end though, because my car that I had, it was almost paid off. Too. I paid it off, but it was like almost paid off at this point. It's a what was it? A 2013 Nissan Altima, something like that. And something was wrong with my air conditioning. So if it's hot outside, it was gonna be hot in my car. And I remember picking up this man, and he was like, "Are we gonna turn the air conditioner on, or are we gonna roll the windows down?" Because I had the windows. I think no, I had the windows up, and I was trying to get the air to blow cold, and it wasn't. And we had to ride with the windows down, and it was burning up hot. So I'm trying to think. I must have been driving Uber longer than just from the end of 2019. It had to be towards the end of the summer because it was still hot. So I don't know. But yeah, so anyway, once I saw all those students running crazy, um, I started paying more attention to the news, and I'm just like, damn, this must be serious. So I remember telling my mom, like, let's just quarantine. You know, they saying that we got to quarantine. Like, let's just quarantine for a couple of days or a week and see what see what's going on, because it seems like it might be more serious than I think it is. And after that, we was quarantined for a long time. And during the pandemic, uh, I don't know. I feel like some of us could possibly be traumatized from that experience. I'm not gonna say I'm traumatized, but I'm gonna say that was like a crazy time to live through, because it was just so many unknowns. Like, I guess I had faith that everything was gonna be all right, but it was just weird. It was just so weird. People was passing away. I remember before I was wearing masks and stuff before maybe I did have a mask. I don't know. I went to the Dollar General, and they had the little signs that show you how 6 feet is apart from you. And I remember this girl was like right on my heels, and I was like, "Ain't you supposed to be 6 feet back?" And just being in the store, and they had the arrows to tell you which direction you can walk down the aisle, so to keep people from being too close to each other. And uh, I don't know. That was an interesting time. We got stories to tell our future kids and grandkids. For those of us who don't have kids yet or don't have grandkids, we can talk about, the pandemic of 2020 and how it affected us. But I just wanted to bring that up because it's like around the 5-year anniversary. It seemed like it was just yesterday, but we made it. We did it. We survived. We're the survivors. I think that first year, that first full year, I didn't I didn't eat at a restaurant. I didn't eat takeout or delivery. We cooked our own food for a full year. And then even after that year, I didn't sit in any restaurants for probably like 3 or 4 months. And then what else didn't we do? Didn't travel during that time. Me me or my mom didn't get COVID in 2020 at all. Probably because we didn't go anywhere. I went to the grocery store. When we got groceries, we would wipe them down with disinfectant, and we still do that because when you think about it, people are touching all the groceries. People are nasty. They're coughing in their hands. They're wiping their noses. They're flicking boogers. They're doing the most, digging in their booties, and they touching not just the produce, but your juice that you drink, all the bags of rice, whatever you have that you bring into your house, and then you touching it, pouring it into your whatever, your pots and pans and bowls, and cooking, not realizing you touching a whole bunch of nastiness. So anyway, we definitely still wipe our groceries off. Thank you, Jasmine. Shout out to Jazzy Jazz 4444. She says my locks are beautiful. Thank you. I just undid my twist today. So we still do that. And then we got COVID August of 2021. So me and my mom's birthday are a week apart exactly. Hers is July 19th, mine is July 26th. So we went to this club called Monticello's for her birthday, had a good time. Um, and then we went to, I think we went back for my birthday. It's one of those clubs that is kind of like really both of our age group is there. Probably, I want to say mid 30s to 60s plus in that club. And we had a good time. And I remember going to Costco and pumping gas, and I just felt something like in my nose or like in my sinuses. And I knew something ain't right. I think I done caught something. My mom caught it first. She had it for like several days before I got it. And I kind of just stayed, I kind of just wanted to get it so I could just go ahead and get my antibodies. Um, Even though it was a terrible experience. Like it really felt like there was an energy trying to take me out. That's what it felt like when I had COVID. And I remember I had just started promoting an imposter syndrome workshop. And right after I started promoting it, people started enrolling and I got sick right when probably when it started. It was like a 5-day imposter syndrome workshop. And I made it through. I was sick as a dog, but I got through each day. I think it ended up being 4 days. I was promoting it as 5, but the people that signed up didn't show up on the first day. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna just give you all these 4 days and we're gonna be done with it. So 4 days, the fourth day, I started feeling these weird sensations in my legs. And because I've had um, blood clots when I was 17, I think I told the story about how I was on birth control. I was on the NuvaRing and I got pulmonary embolism from that. I don't play around when I feel certain things in my legs. And I heard that some people that were getting diagnosed with COVID were also experiencing blood clots. So it kind of had me worried. The word 9% said, I just so happened to be asymptomatic. I didn't even know I had it. Yeah, a lot of people experience that too. So when I felt that in my legs, plus I was kind of having a little bit of, not really shortness of breath, but just a little difficulty breathing, just a little. So me and my mom, we went to the emergency room. Mind you, she was still sick, but she had been sick longer than me and it still was prevalent. I was, trying to heal us at home. We were doing pretty good with our natural healing. I was making us certain teas. Um, what is that tea? Mullein. I was doing mullein tea. I was doing steams. We were, doing different things to try to heal at home. And we did pretty good, I think. By the time we got to the hospital, it was packed with sick people. We signed me in. And then I'm like, Mom, since we're here, you might as well be seen too. So we both were seen. After a while, we waited for a long time. They checked my legs for blood clots. There were none there. But they diagnosed us both with, of course, COVID. They confirmed that we had COVID and we both had pneumonia. And thankfully, it wasn't too bad. We both, they gave my mom some medication that she qualified to receive because she was over 55. Was she over 55 at the time? Over 50. I think she was only like 53 at the time, or 54 at the time. Um, or maybe she was 55. She might have been just turned 55. And then they just gave me an IV, and I think we got sent home that next morning or later on that night, something like middle of the night or something. I don't remember. But we finished healing at home and got back on track a couple weeks later. But I don't ever want to experience that again. I think, but then I think the flu could sometimes be just as bad too. It's just, I rebuke all sickness. Um, Thank you, the word 9%. But anyway, back to the present moment. I didn't want to stay stuck on COVID. I was just reminiscing because it's like 5 years since we went through that traumatic experience of being quarantined and not knowing what the hell going on. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. The first time that I kind of like got outside, because I was inside. I wasn't trying to be around those sick people. Um, my best friend had invited me to the park. I don't know if we went to the botanical gardens that day and missed it, went too late or something, so we went to the park. And it just seemed like, on those apocalyptic type shows or movies when the world ends and all these traumatic things happen, and then the survivors come out of their bunkers or wherever they've been hiding, and they're looking around to see who else survived. That's what it felt like. Life just felt weird. The world was weird. Other people, seeing them walking around, it was weird. Um, and I think that was just a time to remember. I don't know. But anyway, I wanted to talk about girlfriends because, again, like I said earlier this week on episode 35, I highlighted Queen Latifah for Women's History Spotlight, and we talked about living single and the women who shaped living single. So I wanted to talk about girlfriends today. It premiered on UPN in 2000 and ran for 8 seasons, back when they gave us seasons on seasons on seasons. And we need a girlfriends movie. It was created by Mara Brock Akil. She says she just needs the budget. She needs the right numbers, and she'll give us a movie. So whoever got the money, I need a girlfriends movie. It was a groundbreaking in its portrayal of 4 Black women navigating friendships, careers, relationships, and self-discovery. And it tackled real life issues like infidelity, fertility issues, identity crises, and friendship breakups and makeups and all of the things in between. It showed the diversity of Black womanhood through 4 unique characters: Joan, Maya, Toni, and Lynn. So, since we were just talking about Tracee Ellis Ross, let's start with talking about Joan. First of all, just like Tracee Ellis Ross, Joan was a fashionista. Her outfits were what they say, her outfits were tea, body was tea, house was tea. She just looked good. She used to rock a lot of, remember, I think it was Nelly had a clothing line called Free City. She used to rock a lot of Free City when she was kind of like in her urban, laid back, casual clothes. And she was a lawyer, so she just, she showed up and showed out at work. Not thumbs down, thumbs up. Um, but she was She was a sexy, successful lawyer. She desperately wanted love and marriage, like for sure. She was very socially awkward. This is how I got on the pandemic talk because I binge watched Girlfriends. It was either in 2020 or 2021. But when we were in the house, I started rewatching old shows. So I'm going off of my memory from that. I know I'm going to miss a lot of the key details, but we're going to talk about some of the things that I can remember. But she was socially awkward at times, kind of quirky, and she was anxious. If you look back, you'll see that she had a lot of anxiety and a lot of overthinking and a lot of self-sabotage in certain situations. And in some of her relationships, I think that she was the problem in a lot of them. Some of them she wasn't, for sure. But some she was, and she kind of lacked accountability on some of the things that were her issue. Um, she often got in her own way, which is definitely related. Everything is relatable, for those who feel like you're doing everything right, but somehow end up sabotaging or self-sabotaging your own happiness. So again, she was a lawyer. I believe the beautiful house that she lived in I think she inherited it from her grandmother, if I can remember. And um, what I liked about Joan too is that she was really big on hosting, and she loved holidays, and she loved her friends. Like she really um she really believed in community and having that village and hosting at her house. And just, she was festive. She turned up. She was, she was just that girl. And she has some very interesting relationships. I don't know if y'all remember the time when she was dating the dude. She went to his house and I think she dropped something and looked under the bed and it was a girdle and she thought he was cheating. And meanwhile, it was his because he had hips and she couldn't fuck with the hips. I think she tried, but she just, whew, it was challenging. Um, she had a lot of interesting relationships, but she had one relationship I remember when she went to the club, and I want to say he gave her some ecstasy. She was just getting into all kind of mess. And then Joan also made it popular to have a 90-day rule. She brought that to the mainstream. She had a 90-day rule where, when she getting to know men and starts dating them, you're not getting her cookies for 90 days. If you can make the 90 days, then we'll see. So she definitely had her standards and her boundaries. And she really did want love. I think sometimes she dealt with a lot of control issues as well. I want to say that's what she was kind of dealing with towards the end of the last marriage that she had. Or I think they were engaged. We never found out if they got married. I don't remember if she got engaged or not, but we never did find out whether or not they got married because they ended the show. But um I remember when she ended up leaving her career as a lawyer to follow her dreams and create new passions, and she became a restaurant owner, and she, had the J Spot, trying to build a whole new business and going through the money issues that come along with that, and the doubt from other people because, again, she's a successful lawyer, wanting to make partner. I think she was kind of struggling with the fact that she didn't make partner. I want to say William made partner, but she didn't, if I can remember correctly. But that part is relatable to me as well. And I think a lot of people go through that, especially, she's not a millennial, but as millennials are like trailblazing this new normal of, we're not trying to sit around and be miserable in our careers and work them for years and years and years and wait until we're 65 to retire, but the we're the ones that are kind of starting this or leading the way. And so we don't have all the answers, so we're definitely going through the ups and downs of figuring out what's next if you're not going to go this route. So just with her leaving such a successful career as being a lawyer, to start a business as a restaurant owner, and that's not easy. Owning a restaurant is not easy. A lot of people, when I started cooking vegan food and they started tasting my food and I was doing pop-ups and stuff, the first thing they want to say is, when you get in a restaurant, baby, I do not want that stress. Mm-mm. I like to cook when I like to cook. I don't want to depend on cooking to make a living. When I'm rich, I will open up a restaurant where I could staff it and create the vibe and the menu. Y'all handle that. But right now, trying to build a restaurant from the ground up as my business and as my life, I'm good. I'm good. But yes, Joan, also, with her friend dynamic, she went through a lot of lessons too from her friends. She learned a lot of lessons through her friends. Her friendship with, you know what? I'm gonna talk about each character and then I'll talk about their friendships. Let's keep going. Maya Wilkes, played by Golden Brooks. She was a young wife and mother from the hood who became an assistant at the law firm. She was Joan's executive assistant. She struggled with maintaining her identity while being a wife and a mother. So, as a lot of women do, get lost in their roles, kind of forget who they are, don't really have a life outside of nurturing, providing care for their family, being a partner to their husbands, supporting their husbands on their journey, all of those things. She did eventually end up having like an emotional affair with this dude and went through a breakup with her husband. And then they did get back together, and I believe she got pregnant. They had a son. And I want to say she got pregnant with a little girl and ended up miscarrying. And she dealt with the depression after that she really couldn't shake back from. Um, it took her a while to shake back from. And she did find some success in authoring some books. I think she had what? Oh, Hell Yes? Was it Oh, Hell Yes? And then she had another book that wasn't as successful as the first one, but yeah. So Maya, I feel like she, no matter what, as far as like societal norms of class or where she ranked in her friend group when it came to having certain things or being, from certain places or having certain accolades, she didn't allow that to really change who she was. I feel like she was the most authentic one. She always kept it real. She didn't let nobody play in her face. She didn't let anybody disrespect her or make her feel the type of way because of her circumstances. She handled her business. She had her man. She had her child. She did what she needed to do. She was about her self-care because if she had a hair appointment or something while she was on the clock, she figured that shit out. And she was really working on elevating. She wasn't just trying to stay stuck and complacent. She did what she had to do. And then we have Miss Toni Childs, played by Jill Marie Jones, Miss Bougie real estate agent. She had a deep fear of going back to poverty. Um, she grew up in, I think she used to say Fresno, California, where it was, I guess it was country there, or her mama was country. And she just really had somewhat of a disdain for her upbringing in the country. She always talked about it as something that was to be ashamed of and embarrassed about. And whenever her mom would come in town, she would kind of, not want to be bothered. And she did what she needed to do to collect her coins and to maintain a luxurious lifestyle. Um, she had some interesting relationships. I remember she was dating this artist. I feel like he was an artist, and he was like really a struggling artist. But he was really sweet to her. I feel like they had good sex, they got along well, and she really liked him, but he didn't have no money on. So she started dealing with a doctor that had the coins, and she slept with both of them around the same time. She ended up getting chlamydia. So she automatically assumed that she got the chlamydia from the struggling artist. So he was like so apologetic and was like, oh my God, I didn't even know I had it. He went and got checked, come to find out he ain't even have it. It was the doctor. And I feel like that's a big lesson too, because a lot of people sleep around and depend on their partners to let them know their status. Like everybody should know their own status, and you should share that with each other. And people are assuming that based on someone's appearance, profession, class, whatever, that you can tell whether or not they have an STD or an STI. I told y'all this before, but I was talking to this guy years ago, and he was saying something about he didn't feel the need to get results from his daughter's mother because she was a nurse. Sir, is she a sexually active human? It doesn't matter what her profession is. It doesn't matter how often she goes to the doctor. Do you have your results? So you got to stop depending on other people to let you know whether or not you got something. And I'm no shade, but a lot of men don't be going to the doctor, and they be waiting for somebody to come tell them if they got something for them to do something about it, or if they don't hear nothing, they ain't worried. So, but anyway, Toni, she ended up, I think she ended up trying to play it off. And then Joan accidentally slipped up and revealed that Toni was sleeping with both guys to the artist. She thought that Toni had already told him, but she didn't. And so when Toni found out that Joan spilled the beans about her cheating on this dude, she was livid. She went off. They had a fallout. And then she ended up marrying a man that wasn't her typical type. He was a short white man. I think he might have been a Jewish man. He was a doctor. I don't remember how they fell in love. I don't think they got along at first, but somehow they fell in love. And then when she got pregnant, Toni got pregnant and she had her child, I think things changed again. I believe she was going through postpartum and she didn't really realize how much her life was going to change after having a child. She wasn't really connecting with motherhood. Her maternal instincts weren't automatically clicking in, and she just, she was used to being selfish and used to being the center of attention, used to not having to worry about anyone other than herself. So when she had a daughter, a little baby, it was a lot for her to adjust to. And Todd was side eyeing her, and eventually they were in and out of court with a custody battle, a divorce and a custody battle that got really ugly. So I wish we knew what happened after the whole thing, but girlfriends ended suddenly. So we need that movie. And then we have Lynn Cersei, played by Persia White. She was a free spirited creative and sometimes irresponsible, most times. She definitely floated through life. She was like a professional student. She was always going to school for something. She had several degrees, so she wasn't a dummy. She was very intelligent, but she just didn't know what she wanted to do. So she was floating around, getting these different degrees, trying to figure out what was going to click, what was going to stick. I believe it was rooted in the fact that she pretty much was kind of like dealing with an identity crisis as well. She was a biracial woman, but she had been adopted by two white parents. And I believe she met her birth parents when she was an adult. It was a white woman and a black man. And eventually started having a relationship with them. The white woman, I believe, she was one of those kind of like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, his dad, how he showed up and then he was unreliable, skipped town after they built a little bond. I think Lynn's mom was kind of like that too. But her dad, I believe, was more grounded and they developed a relationship. She also had a sister, an adoptive sister that was all the way white. And when she brought her around, her girlfriends, she was like a wigger. She was trying to talk black, act black, if you believe in black. She was talking in African American vernacular English, Ebonics, talking hood, acting like she was ghetto and doing the most. And then I want to say they was in the beauty salon playing DMX, and she said, "Nigga." When I said everybody in the beauty salon was like, I think the music stopped. Everybody else stopped talking. They looked. She embarrassed the hell out of Lynn. She just felt like it wasn't no big deal. And then I think she might have been having an identity crisis too. I think she kind of dropped the whole facade after she got called out about it. But anyway, Lynn, um, Lynn was definitely, she was from pillar to post. She stayed with Joan a lot. And she did end up having her own apartment at one point with the man that she was dating. I think he was just as irresponsible as her. I want to say it was a damn garage they were staying in. And then she stayed with William for a little while and they became sex buddies. So Lynn was just like, get it how she lived. You know, she didn't like responsibility. She was just a free spirit floating in the world, and she really was just trying to figure out who she was and what her passions were. And like towards the end of the series, she finally found her lane. She was in a band and she was gaining some success with that. And then we don't find out what happens with the band. But anyway, I feel like there's a piece. I can take a piece of each girlfriend and relate to it. And shout out to William. I was just highlighting the women, but William was, everybody's male bestie. He was a fool. He had feelings for Joan at one point, and they dated and they had their run. I never thought that was a great match. I think they should have just always been friends. They tried it, whatever. Hey, but he was pretty reliable with his friendship. I think he had to check them a couple of times for overstepping boundaries, and he had to check Lynn because she was, doing too much. When he did get with his woman, I forgot her name. He had a couple of women on the show. He had the lady that was a police officer, and then he had Monica. So William was quirky and crazy and cool too. He was a lawyer, and I believe he invested in Joan's restaurant as well. He was like a silent partner. So it was just really a good show to like see how they navigated the world, life, love, career. Um, William was also a mama's boy, but Joan lacked boundaries for a lot of her friendship in life in general, but like especially with like all of her friends. So with Toni would be disrespectful, or sometimes she would be jealous, or she would be have like a little mean spirited energy towards Joan sometimes, and Joan would just let it slide because they grew up together. She loved her. She was like her sister. Um, what's her name? Lynn, was a user sometimes and just took advantage of Joan's kindness and overstayed her welcome, didn't really pay her back, didn't contribute to anything. Joan let that shit slide because she like, I mean, this is my friend. What's she gonna do? Be homeless? Um, Maya had to check Joan at one point because she was on her bougie shit when Joan wanted to help Maya renew her vows to her husband, and she was trying to make it like this super bougie, expensive wedding. And Maya's just like, this is what I'm trying to do. It's simple. It's about love. It's about the marriage. These are the dresses that I want us to wear. It's going to be in the living room. We're going to sing a song as we walk through. And Joan was trying to make it her vision of a marriage. So Maya had to check her when it came to that. Like, no, boo boo. She put her out the wedding at one point, and Joan had to, take accountability for how she was behaving and apologize and ask Maya for her forgiveness. Joan had to check Toni for just not being a good friend and not being there for her when she need her, and put her ass out of her house. And they definitely navigated some things. And we often talk about romantic relationships and breakups and boundaries within romantic situations, but it happens in friendships as well. So they definitely showed a lot of those dynamics in Girlfriends. And I just think that I would recommend to put that in your on your watch list if you are in your 30s or even in your 20s. Watch Girlfriends. Of course, older too, but if you're in your 20s and 30s and you've lived a little bit, watch Girlfriends, watch Living Single, watch Insecure, watch the shows. Who's telling me to go to bed? Somebody named underscore, what is that? Is that OTF underscore rich? Let me see if you know me. Why you tell me to go to sleep? Come subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're watching me. If you're watching me on any other platform right now and you're not following or subscribed to my channel, you tripping. Do we know each other? I'm gonna follow you back. I don't recognize you. But anyway, that is what I wanted to talk about today. I wanted to talk about Girlfriends. I wanted to ask y'all, who can you relate to? Because I feel like I can relate to all of the characters. Definitely Joan. Joan was navigating them relationships, hunty. She ended up with a damn sex addict, a dude with some big ass hips, a dude that drugged her, a dude, just all types of scenarios. So I can relate to Joan when it comes to just having boundaries, having to develop boundaries when it comes to friendships and people pleasing and things like that. Definitely leaving my career that everybody, um, you know, I became an LPN at the age of 20. So I always felt like that was my fallback career if I ever decided to leave. I never even thought about leaving. I was like, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna run my businesses on the side. But then when I left my career in 2019, I'm like, well, if all else fails, I can always go back to that. But a lot of times people don't get it. When you leave your career, it's for a reason or reasons. And sometimes you rather get it out the mud and do it a different route than to be in a career that you no longer have the same passion for. So I can relate to her on that. Um, Joan. What else? The quirkiness, the little awkwardness. I can relate to her personality as well. Maya, I would say, I feel like I could feel Maya. Like I'm, I'm not super, I'm not ratchet. I'm not super hood. I got a little bit of ghetto. So to people that's like super ghetto, ratchet, and hood, they probably think I don't think I come off as bougie, but I'm not. I'm not. I'm like ghetto light. But then to people that are super bougie and all of that, I don't like that either. So I'm like somewhere in the middle. So I think I can relate to Maya when it comes to that. Like, yeah, I can relate to people that's from the hood that got hood tendencies. I grew up not necessarily. I grew up kind of hoodish. Not really super ghetto, but just ghetto-ish. So I feel like just being able to navigate any world, definitely, but also maintaining my authenticity. So I'm me at all times. I might say I'm liable to say any damn thing because I'm just gonna say it if it comes to mind. I know that there's a time and a place for things, but I'm gonna always be myself. And I show up like when I was working for corporate, I maintain my personality and my authenticity, and either you're gonna love it or you're gonna hate it. And most of the time people love it, you know. There might be sprinkle in there that don't like it, but whatever. It's me. So I like Maya because of that. I can relate to her because of that. Toni Childs. How can I relate to Toni Childs? I mean, I do like the finer things in life, but not on the level that she was on. I would say maybe she had siblings, but like I think just that adjustment when she had her child of going from only having to be concerned about herself to being a mother. I think that I could see that because I grew up the only child. So even though I want to be a mother and I'm excited about that, I think it will be an adjustment to you know, not having to worry about anybody other than myself per se. I'm always concerned. I'm always nurturing somebody. I really am a mama to everybody else, but I guess that's the only thing I can really think of right now as far as Toni being relatable. And Lynn, the free spirited, creative, I could be a little irresponsible sometimes too, Lynn. I feel you. Like sometimes you just want to be free and you just want to float and figure out your passions and not have a care in the world. And then reality hits you and you like, oh, I gotta pay bills, I gotta pay rent, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. So I feel you. I feel Lynn on that. But anyway, if you're watching this back, or listening, whatever, which of the girlfriends can you most relate to? Anyway, y'all, it's late. We are about to wrap up. If you don't know, again, I am Osha Cerese, certified life coach, event curator, and dream doula, supporting you with birthing your ideas into reality. Go to my website, oshacerese.com, and book a session if you would like to have a life coach in your life to support you with healing, self-love, self-discovery, and intentional dating. So if you need some work, like Lynn could have used a coach to kind of help her with her self-discovery. Like, ma'am, you sitting here going to college, you're getting all these degrees, You live in pillar to post. What's going on with you? Let's talk about it. Let's figure it out. Let's get you on a plan. Let's get you right. And you don't have to be going through as much as Lynn to have a session. If it's something that you want to unpack, something that you feel like you want to work on, or if it's some goals that you have that you want some support with, um, reaching, go ahead and book a session. I have some amazing programs already curated for you on my website as well. 6-week program, one single step at a time, is for healing, self-discovery, self-love, unpacking past traumas, childhood trauma, relationship trauma, knowing yourself, getting to know who you are, what you want, working through a lot of things, preparing for your future, all of the great things. That comes with 6 weeks of coaching. Of course, it's a guided workshop. 6 weeks of coaching, and then it comes with this guided journal, How to Beat Single. If you are not interested in guided workshops and coaching sessions right now, but you do want to start doing the work, you can always just grab the journal, How to Beat Single. Then we have 5 Ways in 5 Days. It is a self-love workshop utilizing the love languages in your daily acts of self-love and self-care, and also uncovering those blockages that you may have when it comes to giving and receiving love. So that program can be done in as little as 5 days, and you have up to 60 days to complete it. And it is, again, 5 Ways in 5 Days. It comes with one free coaching session as well. What else I got for you? Go to my website and look around. And if you don't know where to start, you could just book a discovery call and I'll help you figure it out and navigate it. And then again, if you are an influencer, a creator, creative business owner, or you just have some ideas and you don't know what to do with them, you need to figure out how to utilize and monetize your gifts, book a strategy session. It is under the content strategy tab on my website. We will get you together. We'll figure out if you need just simply a content plan, not simply because it takes some effort to put together, but a content plan, a strategy. If you need a niche to figure out what exactly you're going to do and how you're going to show up, which platforms you're going to be on, I can even support you with digital products like digital courses, ebooks, setting all of that up. Certain graphics I can help you with, websites, the things that you need to get started with your social media presence and just with utilizing your gifts. So book a strategy session if that resonates with you. And then if you are an intentional dater, a hopeful romantic, and you're looking for love in 2025, you need to be on the Intentional Love Collective database. The Intentional Love Collective is a growing community that I am creating to help curate special, intimate, exciting singles mixers, matchmaking opportunities, and speed dating events with your desires, values, and preferences in mind. So when I invite you to an event, I'm going to search my Intentional Love database and I'm going to say, hey, these people align on values. They are each other's type. They have similar interests. I'm going to invite you there. So make sure you're on Intentional Love Collective. And if I see somebody that matches your interests, values, and desires to a T, I might just match make the two of you. So join the Intentional Love Collective. We got some amazing events coming soon, and some other opportunities that I can't talk about right now, but you'll soon know. What else I got for y'all before I wrap up? Oh, some journaling prompts. So I already gave you one. Which girlfriend's character do you relate to most and why? The second one, how has fear held you back from living the life you truly want? How has fear held you back from living the life you truly want? And what lessons have you learned from your past friendships or relationships that shaped you to who you are today? Or what have you learned from past relationships or friendships that shaped who you are today? All right, y'all got it. Y'all got it. Thank you so much for tuning in here on YouTube and on IG. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel, y'all. Don't just be watching me on the low. I need some subscribers. The next milestone we're trying to get to is 200. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. That's the goal. So help me get to 200 by next week. Share it with a friend that may be interested in the content that I provide. I got some more great content coming soon. And I thank you. I appreciate you. I love you. I'm about to go take a shower, wash this makeup off my face, do some yoga, and unwind and relax and prepare for tomorrow. I got meetings. I got things to do. So I will see y'all tomorrow before we wrap up the week and prepare for the weekend. And I love you. I'll talk to you soon. Have a good night.